Welcome to the March to a Million podcast with Greg DuPont, founder of the Wealth Solutions Network. In this podcast, Greg shares his journey to positively impact 1 million lives by creating an army of financially minded attorneys who embrace an expanded role in their clients' lives. Greg and his guests challenge the status quo in the legal profession and the financial services industry, and show attorneys how they can improve their lives, provide greater value to their clients, and experience greater professional satisfaction. Join us in this movement and strengthen your business by learning how to solve your clients' most pressing financial problems.
Hello and welcome to another March to a Million podcast with your host, Greg DuPont. Now today, we're going to talk about WSN 2.0. The cool thing about starting a business like this that Greg has started is really the constant desire to make things better. And I think that's really what we're going to be diving into today. So Greg, welcome to the show.
Hello, Matt. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm really excited about hearing about all of the wonderful changes that you're going to be bringing to the existing WSN members and the new WSN members so that we can truly hit this March to a Million goal.
You know, I've been spending the last 2 months now, just kind of chronicling the learnings of what now essentially has been the first year of WSN. And as you know, when this launches, it'll be pretty much near the 1 year anniversary of when I really went public with it and got ready and started bringing in the first class. So, you know, I've been sitting back and, looking at things and, what went right, what do we need to shore up, and what were the learnings of last year? And, what I will say off the rip is the last year, my experience with the members of WSN and the people that I've talked to that had interest in WSN, that for one reason or another, the timing wasn't right in their world. It did nothing but just deepen my commitment to this mission of ours, to change the way that estate planning attorneys look at their practice and how they serve their clients. It's been really, really fulfilling for the last year to hear the stories of the people and watch the growth of several of the members of WSN that have really been able to dig in and make this part of their life.
So reflection is fantastic, but results and changes are more important. So I appreciate the deep philosophical journey that you're going on, but what if you really just said, okay, here are 3 or 4 things that I learned from creating a membership organization and really what our WSN members want. What are those things that really bubble up for you?
Yeah. So one of the key learnings is what in the abstract is a nominal addition of time, nominal commitment of time, specifically in the licensing process, and specifically for the insurance license. The first one that we suggest that most WSN members get, because it's the easier of the 2 licenses to obtain, and because the payoff for that license is much more prompt than the long-term payoff on the other one. And what I've found, talking to members of WSN, talking to people that have gone from 0 to licensed, is number one, my expectation of the amount of time was about right. Even though it's been 18 years since I took that test, my recollection was fairly accurate on I'll say the relative ease of the test, from the perspective of somebody that has exposure to these concepts. But what I did not appreciate is with the type of attorney that is a go-getter, is the type that's attracted to WSN, finding that bandwidth to find those additional 10 hours a week for a good block of 5-6 weeks to get it done, which is really all it takes. But having that commitment to get that done has been a real challenge for many. And where I came in thinking about, okay, 60 hours is preparing for trial. This is no issue. But it has been much more of an issue for people than I thought that was going to be. And so that's led to some of our changes in what we're doing to try to keep people on path to get that done, and to help them understand more upfront that, it is a test. Yeah, it should be taken seriously, but you don't need to study for it like you study for the bar. I was just talking to one of our members, a great member of the organization, is going to do great things with us. But now, he's been in since the fall of last year and has a guy's insurance license. And I was sharing with them that, if I were to do this at this point, take that test, I would not take it from the perspective of here's a textbook and I got to read from beginning to end. I'd take it from perspective. I'd take a look at the textbook and I'd do a speed read of it and say, okay, I'm a little bit lacking in this area. I'll focus on this area. I'll focus on this area. And I'll focus on this area. I won't worry about the entirety of this thing because it's a proficiency test,
right?
Not an expertise test. And we lawyers, coming from the bar, coming from the way that we are wired, most, high achieving in college and law school are wired to excellence. And Matt, I'm sure in your journeys back in the day, you had the same kind of experience as I did about, people that were old hands in the business saying, Sonny, you just need to get a 70. That's all you need. And what I would, my perspective back then was, no, I'm going to ace this damn thing.
Yeah. So I've taken the insurance license twice. Personally, once was for an opportunity, and then that opportunity dissolved, and so I just let my license lapse. And then I got another opportunity a little bit later, so I was like, I'll just take it again. And the first time I took it, I scored like a 84, right? And my partner at the time said, "You started 14% too hard." He's like, look, here's the deal. You're actually not learning the insurance business from taking the test. This is what I took away is like, look, it doesn't matter. It matters that you pass the test, but the minute the test is passed, that's actually when you go to school, because this is just concept. This isn't what it's like to actually be sitting in front of a client and having these conversations. Do you need to know the definitions? Do you need to understand the basic insurance tenets? But that's the difference between this and the bar, bro, is this is basic competency. This is not bar level competency, and it's not hard to take the test. The last time and I'm not the brightest one in the bunch. The second time I took the test, I think I studied like, a couple of hours a day for 3 weeks, and I took the test and I scored a 78. Right. And again, I don't score 78s, Greg. I'm an A+ student, bro. It's just me. Right. So I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. Now, but you said that this has led to one of the changes. So was the change in your expectation and helping them set expectations, or were there other changes within WSN to make it so that, did you make any policy decisions on everybody having their insurance license?
So no, I've not made any policy decisions that way. But what I have, I've shifted the focus of WSN. As you and I have had these conversations many times, we've had conversations with the people that have been part of the long form trainings that we had done. And as I initially visualized WSN, it was, heavily on the training, right? And so that we become experts and get past the proficiency into expertise through the trainings and what have you. And so one of the observations was, okay, if my members are having a difficult time enough finding the time to get the basic licensing proficiency, well, they sure as hell don't have the time to sit and absorb the long form trainings. And so when I made that realization, the whole focus of WSN into WSN 2.0 shifted. It shifted into what is a process that the WSN member can plug into where they don't need to feel like they need to know the answers. And you know, it was what I was trying to do, but it was not precisely scripted out. They had no point of sale type of reference to help them through this. So as we unveiled WSN 2.0, we're developing the onboarding process has been more refined for the client's experience based around a scripted almost process so that the attorneys know what to do. And so we're building out point of sale pieces now based around the pillars that are the cornerstones of financial advocacy, but it allows the attorneys now to have a deliverable that they can sit there with the client and say, this is where this process goes. This is why I think this is a process that would be beneficial to you. Would you like to spend a few minutes with the expert member of the team to see if this is a fit for you to go forward? So, to remove from the attorney the feeling that they have to hold themselves out as the expert at that instant. Those that matriculate up into the leadership levels of WSN, then we will train them up so that they are now able to be more expert. But it's taking that load off of the attorney and allowing them to focus where the focus needs to be in this era, which is the relationship with the client and the trust element of that, and not the technique and all that stuff, which is, as we talked about, it's commoditized.
Right.
We are merely a conduit on that.
So that's got to be a really big hurdle, man, because, again, as a person who is an expert in estate law, saying you don't know something is a very difficult thing for people who hold themselves out as experts. So I'm glad that you're attacking that on the front end, especially with deliverable pieces so that people can actually have the confidence of sharing that stuff. But it's always interesting to me. The more I have learned in the world, the more I realize that I don't really know much about anything, and holding myself out as the person who knows everything about everything, like I did in my 20s. Boy, I was really wrong, dude. So, all right. So let's talk about. All right. So some of the other changes. So the insurance license expectations, scripting, deliverables. What else are some of the other changes that you've made with this new 2.0?
So one of the things that I've heard from the members of WSN, and so the people that I talk to in the recruiting process, is the need for lead flow. When I started the vision of WSN, I did not really want to get into marketing for estate planning leads, but there's a need out there. There's a herd out there. And I've got the tools to easily provide this without much of a lift on my end, built upon what we're already doing in my office. Just the ability to have webinars that go nationwide. I've been doing estate planning webinars nationwide on and off for the last 3 years post-COVID. And so now that is going to be one of the benefits of membership, that we will have regular estate planning webinars on a nationwide level that will be a lead source potentially for the WSN members. Well, I talked to a family in California that they go through our process, get qualified into having a need and a desire to engage in estate planning through my team. Then we bring in the WSN member to take it home. And
Okay.
so through that, that's just scaling what I have been doing, and now having the ability to provide even more value to a member of WSN. And all of these estate planning clients that we bring through that process will be ones that expect to be treated the way that I believe clients should be treated by the estate planning attorney, which is comprehensive. We're looking at everything from your assets to your taxes to your risks to your legacy, and how does the estate plan fit in with all of those other things.
Wow. I can say that from our first conversation, that's a pretty big shift, man. Because one of the first conversations that we had, and I challenged you on this in one of our first episodes, is being able to go into their existing book of business and be able to find new business, which we know is still ripe. Are you getting resistance from that they don't want to go into their existing book of business, that they only want to do this with new people?
I'm not seeing resistance.
Okay.
I am seeing again the bandwidth problem. My method has been with the onboarding is, hey, you're coming on. The first thing you need to be doing is looking for opportunities in your current case flow. Okay. And then once we start finding those, then we can go back to the book and nurture the book as this is who I am. And people have not gotten to that point across the board well enough. And so, and this world, everybody, whether it's an attorney that's doing estate planning or a financial advisor, if you ask them what do they need, we need more leads.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's one thing that we're going to try to give them. And then we're also now focusing more on how do we have an effective, trust-based conversation as a consultant for the client.
Okay, elaborate on that.
Hopefully I'm going to have one of my new coaches on here in the upcoming episodes, Ari Gelper. He's an expert in trust-based selling. And as he and I talked, and as I researched what he does, it is such a consistent approach to the way we attorneys need to be approaching this conversation, as opposed to the Sandler sells stuff, the pre-frame. Well, pre-frame is always there, but the what's that contract, upfront contract, and all that kind of sales bullshit. It's how do you focus on connecting with the person, and them ultimately saying, "Hey, what do we do next? How do we go forward here?" And you're not going to get everybody, right? As we've talked about, if a WSN attorney can talk to 10 people and one of them says, "Hey, yep, I want to do this," then you're adding six figures to your bottom line.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a conversation that they can be very comfortable having. And so that's part of 2.0 is, okay, during that licensing phase, which has been more extended than I had anticipated would be for people, how do we start with, okay, I can have these conversations. Mm-hmm. I can ask these questions. I can show this process, and I can lean on the community to provide the expertise for me to take care of my client, to do what I need to do for them, and build that relationship going forward. And then I'll eventually get my license, and I will participate greater in all that, but I'll get some momentum, because that's what's been a real hurdle for people, getting that momentum.
Was just recently at a conference, and one of the quotes that they pulled from my speech was, nobody wants to be sold to anymore. Everybody wants to be given the opportunity to buy from you. And that's the consultative selling. That's what you're talking about. Yes, are there still sales components of that as a salesman, I know I need to use? Trial, close. I mean, there's, checking for understanding and confirmation, getting many yeses. I mean, there's still things there that aren't swarmy, right? That, what can I do to get you into this estate plan today sort of, environment that a lot of us lived in previously. It's really nice to be able to have people say what you just said there at the end. Okay, I'm ready to move forward. I understand your value. You are what I need. I'm ready to go. Is very, very different than, again, what can I do to have you buy? What are your 3 biggest objections? Or it sounds to me like money is the issue, or cost is the issue, which means I haven't really shown you the value. I mean, you and I have gone through, because we've been around, we've been through all of this training repeatedly. So, well, one of the other things that we had talked about when we were warming up for the show today was that you actually came up with a renewal of the vision. And as we wrap up today's show, I'd really like for you to end with what WSN now looks like in Greg's mind.
So now that 1.0 is done, and we've had some learnings, and we had a healthy year of growth. But as I looked at 2.0, and I look at the economic horizon, the political horizon, the financial horizon, as we talked about, is it going to be the greatest transfer of wealth or the greatest confiscation of wealth? We're 1 year closer to that happening. Mm-hmm. So we got to put the pedal to the metal. And so as I have built out WSN 2.0, or I'm building it out as we speak, the vision of that is not bringing on 10 to 20 members a year, but rather I'm building it to try to accommodate 10 new members a month to create this army over the next couple of years, because we've got to get the message out to the community that they got to take the heads out of the sand, or a incredible opportunity to preserve legacy and otherwise make a mark, whether it's in your family or in your community, instead of it just getting pissed away. So everything with WSN 2.0 is designed at this point towards process that can be implemented on the scale of bringing in 10 people a month that want to take that role as a leader for their clients, with less training, even, right, as we talked about, to be able to pull it off. I want them to know the path into licensing, so if they want to get the augmented revenue, then they'll be able to get it. If they don't want to take the path into licensing, but they just want to follow the mission of better outcomes for their clients, control of the situation, in the face of a client base that is losing access to fiduciary advisors. This whole the ruling by the Department of Labor and all that stuff. There's a possibility of massive loss of financial advisors, which is a conversation for another day. As that field gets older and they end up with a new set of obstacles in their way, we could lose a whole lot of people that are out there trying to help your clients. Yeah. So we need to build our own replacement force. So that's what WSN 2.0 is built upon.
All right. Well, if anybody wants to find out more, or more importantly, anybody who's listening to this needs to be sharing this with every estate planning attorney they know, so that we can hit that goal of 10 new WSN members a month. But more importantly, to truly change the conversation, where should they go, Greg?
Best place to start is www.joinwsn.com.
Fantastic. Well, Greg, listen, I love the fact that you, as a consistent learner, not just professionally, but also personally, you're always trying to get, stronger, better, smarter, faster. In WSN 2.0, our podcast today was a great opportunity for people to understand the changing of the vision, the changing of the tools, the changing of the opportunities, just making it so that you are continuously going to make this a better experience, not just for the estate planning attorneys who are joining, but also for the clients that they serve. So Greg, thank you very much. And everybody listen, if you have not subscribed to the show yet, make sure that you do. But more importantly, please share this with other estate planning attorneys so that we can truly achieve the mission of a march to $1 million. Thanks. And we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Thank you for listening to the March to $1 Million podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available, and get in touch with our team by visiting our website at www.wealthsolutionsgroup.biz or give us a call at 614-432-8065. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Wealth Solutions Network. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice from qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have.